Okay, so I've placed the order for my pump, and Amazon, of course, recommended the lock ring, which I initially did not buy. Then I thought I'd better take a quick look at my pump and to see if I can get this lock ring off, and it looks like it's going to crumble. The idea here is you need to pull this back and then give this a spin counterclockwise. So I'm going to go ahead and set the camera down and see if that is going to work. If not, my strategy is basically going to be breaking these off. Alright, let's see what happens here. We'll just give it a couple gentle taps, see if it's going to move. Okay, so you can see after a little bit of persuasive hammering and some chiseling with a screwdriver, I chipped away and I basically removed the metal from underneath these tabs, because these tabs kind of hook in and that's how it locks down. And I was able to get it to spin. Okay, I'm actually going to go ahead and drain all this gas out anyways, and I probably won't run it through the Blazer, but I think it'd be fine in the lawnmower. Maybe I'll just run it through a filter or something. That's it. So obviously, if you're doing this job, I guess I'd recommend buying the lock ring. I'm going to go ahead and remove the pump here from the tank. Okay, so you can see I have my tank completely empty. Got my new pump, and I'm going to go ahead and install that. Okay, so the pump came with a new gasket, even though I pulled the old one off. We'll use the new one here. I'm going to put that on before we put on our fuel gauge float. I'm kind of excited about, because my fuel gauge hasn't worked since I've owned the vehicle. You don't want to break it. Slide it in there and snap these in. Like that. And if you can remember from the removal video that the lines are facing the back, and there's also a little notch here. I don't know if you can see. It tells you which way the pump's supposed to go. Alright. Okay, here's the new lock ring. Here's the old one. This was $17 on Amazon, I believe. Just trying to slip it over here. Couldn't really see when I removed the lock ring how this went, but basically what needs to happen is it needs to slide down over these metal notches, and then the ring will spin this way clockwise. And you may need to clear some of the rust out to get it to spin all the way. What we need to do is get this notch past this plastic. Okay, so this is what we want right here. Basically that prevents it from sliding back. I don't think it's going to slide back easily anyways, because of how much rust is on this thing. But that's what we need to do. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is wire up a new pigtail for this pump. This is what the old connection looks like. This is what the new one looks like. It comes with a pigtail and some connectors. I'm probably actually going to solder the connections and use some shrink tubing. So let me get set up under the vehicle and go ahead and do that next. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is take and cut that existing pigtail off and strip these back. Okay, you can see I've got them all stripped back, and I've got the pigtail stripped back. I left quite a bit of length on there, probably more than I needed. And I also have the shrink tubing on my wires already. I'm going to take a look at the instructions. I don't know if you can see that or not, but basically I want to go black and white to the orange and black, gray to the gray, purple to the purple, and black to the black. There is a combination 2 on here as well. Let's take a look here. But I appear to have the black with the white wire, and that's going to the orange and black. Alright, let's get it wired up. And of course you don't have to do this. You could use the connectors that it came with. In some of my other videos, I don't know if you've noticed, but the connectors end up being quite bulky, even when you tape them all up. And this isn't something I really want to have to fix later. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a little bit of solder on each of these. We'll slide our shrink tubing up over the connection if we can, and then see if we can get the shrink down. Okay, so you can see I put electrical tape the whole length of that. And the other thing I did, just because there were some sharp edges on those twisted wires, I actually used electrical tape between the shrink tubing as well. So I think it's probably in good shape. Just about getting ready to pop the tank back in.